Hello, friends. I hope you're doing well today. I am going to be Chad ramming some copy today, specifically some video ad scripts that could be used on Instagram, or Facebook, or YouTube. It really doesn't matter. But I'm going to be Chad ramming that copy. What does that mean? Well, I normally follow a process to my copy. It's in the description below. You can get the full process for free. It's a 97-page document. You give me your email, and I give you everything that I know about copywriting over the last 6 years and $50 million worth of experience. So you can just go do that right now if you're super cool and not a glue eater. But if you are, someone who's like, hey, I want to see this guy work in action first, I totally understand. But if you don't end up giving me your email for that document, you eat glue. Okay, so let's not be a glue eater today. Give me that email. Anyways, so basically I am going to be just breaking that process entirely. I'm going to be free-forming some ads today for someone named Brooke Hiddink. And if my editor is doing their job, Brooke's photo is popping up right here over my hands, okay? So Brooke sells a product that is a high-ticket e-com drop shipping offer, okay? And he's been running it for quite some time. He's been doing really well with it. So I reached out to him. I told him, hey, man, I really liked your VSL. I thought it was super good. However, I wanted to see if you'd let me just write some ads for you. I don't really have anything to sell you. I just wanted to write some fun stuff and just record a YouTube video on it. And I know Brooke just like back and forth a little bit online and whatnot and being in like similar circles. And he was like, yeah, man, go for it. And so I was like, cool. So I went ahead, I watched his VSL, and originally I recorded that, but I realized it's kind of boring because it's just me talking about how I liked it. And so I figured that's not all that useful because I don't really have a whole lot of comments on what I would change on it because it's a pretty damn good VSL. So if you want to watch the VSL so you have better context for the ads that I'm writing, you can click the link below, and I linked his VSL that you can go and watch. However, I want you to imagine that I've watched the VSL now, and now I'm going and I'm writing ads, okay? And so I'm talking about the person that I'm going to be selling to, which is usually going to be your beginner B2B. And again, this is super important to understand that B2B, if you're selling BizOp, just means that it's the beginner business owner. It's not an advanced business owner. It's a beginner business owner, okay? So they technically do own a business. I wouldn't categorize that as B2C. B2C is like pools, water softeners, like houses, stuff like that. Consumers buy these things, but this is to someone who's trying to start a business. So I label it as B2B. So if you want to watch the VSL, you can click the link below, or just keep watching right now and you'll see me just Chad ram some copy and see what comes out of my ass. Alrighty, here we go. Okay, so here is the person that we are going to be writing ads to. So we can kind of reverse engineer this just from the VSL. This is going to be someone that is just getting up in the morning to an alarm. They have to go to work. They're either stuck in traffic or they're having to work remote, some sort of morning Zoom check-in with their team. And then as well, they are in a constant state of avoidance. Okay. They are constantly distracting themselves all the time with TikTok and Instagram and whatnot. They are seeking someone to plug their metaphorical umbilical cord into, and essentially they're looking for daddy, and they are constantly in this cycle of like working, lunch, working, relaxing, maybe breakfast before this. Then when they're relaxing, it's like TV, watching sports, TikTok, whatnot, the gym, 5 days a week and whatnot. And then their weekends are spent distracting themselves further. They are 5 days on, 2 days off usually. I mean, this is the constant 9 to 5 and whatnot. They want success, but they're not doing what they need to do to actually see success. Okay, so this is what we create and call cognitive dissonance. They're in a state of cognitive dissonance. They see people who have success, but they do not have success, and they are either in a form of suppression or repression. Okay, so suppression would be like them saying this is fine, right? Repression would be something along the lines of, their dad told them that anyone who makes money is the devil, and that they don't need to make money because it's the devilish thing, right? And so it's an emotional thing. It's like subconscious more than anything. And this is what leads to denial and projection. Okay, so denial and projection are the two most common things. So denial would be them thinking something like, my life is fine. Like, I don't really need a lot of money, or I don't even want a Lamborghini, or all gurus who make money or anyone who makes money online is like a scammer or whatnot, okay? So this is the person that we are writing to. And so could I, sit here and tell you that like, oh, but like we should go after the person who's like, they're ready to quit their job and they have a bunch in savings and, they're not in avoidance. They're owning the fact that they don't know what to do and they are really motivated and they, like, yes, but like, that's just not the reality. Like, that's just not who majority of people are. That's not the situation that they're in. Okay. And so I think it's much more important to meet people where they are at. And so this is kind of where that person is at. And so what we want to do is we want to think about, okay, well, what message would get this person to actually pay attention, to actually stop and pay attention to our ad? Well, usually what it's going to be is getting them to think something along the lines of like, hey, that's me. I have that situation, okay? But we don't want to do that in some form of a cliche manner. And here's why. So when we are writing ads, there are basically going to be 5 levels of awareness. This is really any level of copy. Okay, so there are going to be 5 levels of awareness. Okay, so the 5 levels of awareness are as follows. So number 1 is they are not aware of the problem. They are not aware of the solution. They are not even aware of the brand, and they are not aware of the product either. Okay, or offer, you could say. Now, on the other side, number 5 is they are aware of the problem. They are aware of the solution. They are aware of the brand, and they are aware of the product or offer, I'm going to say here. Okay, and then just literally pretty simple. They are aware of the problem is number 2. They are not aware of the solution. They are not aware of the brand. They are not aware of the problem. Okay, number 3, they are aware of the problem. They are aware of the solution. They are not aware of the brand. They are not aware of the product. Okay, and then number 4 is that they are aware of the product. They are aware of the solution. They are aware of the brand, but they are not aware of the product right there. Okay, so I don't want to write to number 1 because these are like fucking 14-year-olds, to be honest. Number 2, and like this one is just going to be kind of like, I'm just going to be completely honest with you guys. This is kind of your retards of society. People who have not heard about drop shipping or like anything like that, like or sales or whatnot. Like, can you write to those people? Yeah, I just personally don't really want to sell to that and don't want to write that type of copy right now. And then number 4 and number 5, it's kind of a little bit easy. I'm trying not to leverage Brooke's brand. This is going to be more like, it's kind of just opening up the door, just showing them like case studies, giving them an offer, some like one-time discount or something like that. It's just like opening up the door for them. So like, they basically have a reason to actually come inside, right? They've already discovered it. So I don't want to leverage this because it's a little bit easier. So what we're going to write that requires some adequate level of skill here is for someone that is a level 3 awareness. Okay, so they are aware of the problem, they are aware of the solution, and they are not aware of the brand, and so they are not aware of the product. Now, look, if I were to sit down and I was going to spend all day on this, and this was like a client of mine, what I would do is I would actually go and create a creative brief and like actually spend time on that. And if you go into the description and grab the Power Copy Process document that I've created, I would go and I would spend a lot more time researching and planning things out, okay? I would go and I would actually organize all my information into a creative brief. I would 100% do that before I start writing. Now, I'm not gonna do that today. I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit because I've written a lot for this niche. I know this niche and I don't want this video to be like 5 hours long like the last one. It's like 2 hours actually. I'd like for this to be a little bit more to the point. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to write as I know about these people. I don't need to go and do a bunch of research. I don't need to, create a whole outline or creative brief. I'm just going to write to what I know will appeal to that person. So what this person is doing constantly, you need to understand the psychology of this person, is they see someone, okay, and they see this person, and this person has a lot of success. Okay, so like here's their Lamborghini, and it's the car tires, and it's like vroom, right? And it's their car, and it's actually not a bad car. It's an awful car, Nick. Let's just be honest. Your drawing skills are not what got you your money. So they have their car and they see this person. And what do they immediately think with this person? Well, like we said earlier, again, there's either denial or projection. So projection would be this guy is a scammer. Okay? Scammer, right? This person's not real. Okay? They are not legit. They are fake. Okay? That's what a lot of them think because they're in a form of denial and projecting a fake reality because they don't want to own the fact that they just don't know what to do. And this is the thing with the beginner business owner brain. They don't really understand the fact that it's really the gap from where they're at is really just skill sets. It's like in all honesty, it's knowledge is what it is. There's a knowledge gap that they don't have, okay? And all high ticket info is and all like coaching programs are, it's just IQ arbitrage, okay? It's this gap between where they are and where they want to be. They don't realize that it's just knowledge, okay? And I think that the level 3 person, okay, is starting to realize that it is knowledge, okay? So this person is starting to believe the fact that they could do this, okay? So this is more so what I just showed you is like a level 1 or level 2 person. But level 3 is starting to build some belief. And so they're starting to see that there's a knowledge gap, okay? So what I would do is I would write to this person who's starting to understand this knowledge gap. And so we need to create an argument that would get them to actually pay attention with this. So I think the best way to do this, guys, is with, ready? Stories, okay? Stories cook, okay? Because that person is starting to think to themselves, oh, I can see myself in that story, okay? I can see myself achieving that. Now I could see if I do what the story says, I can become that guy, right? This is why you look at like Ty Lopez's most famous ad of all time. It was the Here in My Garage, right? And he had this Here in My Garage of my brand new Lamborghini, right? But you know what I value more than this thing in the Hollywood Hills? Knowledge. And I had this mentor, and see how it like turns into a story. So I think that the most successful ads of all time, what they do is they have some level of an object. And this is for this kind of like beginner B2B niche. They have some object, right? And then they tie it into a story, okay? And then that story leads to the, I'm going to say lesson here. And that lesson is what they can change. Okay, so in the case of the story here has to match Brooke. I can't just make shit up, right? That's why we watch the VSL first. Is I'm kind of trying to understand his story and what he does and whatnot. So if I need to understand the story, what am I going to do? Okay, well, what did Brooke say? Well, Brooke said, here's Brooke. It's a big old cheesing smile. Happy guy, right? Brooke was saying that he was like $152,000 in debt, okay? And then he did a sauna, right? So I think his product was that he sold saunas online. And so that's the sauna, right? He sold these saunas through his e-commerce store. And as a result, he was able to clear out his debt. He then was able to move to Dubai, blah, 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 right? And so I like the sauna story. And so if I were Brooke, what I would do is I would film this ad. And this is Brooke again. I'm sorry, Brooke, if I'm drawing you like a retard right now. It's more me than anything. I'm not able to draw all that well here. I would do an ad in front of a sauna, okay? If he doesn't have one in his building that he lives at, like I would just find a place where he can find a sauna and just shoot this ad, okay? And so what I would do is something like this, okay? So it would be, you see that sauna behind me right there? That sauna actually got rid of my debt for me. I was $152,000 in debt coming out of law school. One of the dumbest decisions I ever made, getting into law school, going and getting a normal degree because everyone told me that was the route that I had to go. And when I decided that I wasn't going to go the normal route anymore, all of my friends, all my family, they just kind of looked at me like I was crazy. Right? They thought that I was never going to make it. My mom and my dad were constantly concerned. They were thinking about, why are you watching all these videos online and trying to figure it out? I lost friends because they were saying that I was weird and I didn't want to be around that. But I'm serious when I say that selling this sauna online, or I would be positioned differently, that figuring out how to source these saunas and then sell them online actually got rid of all my debt. In fact, it didn't just get rid of my debt, it made me over $4 million over the course of 5 years. And look, obviously that's not all profit. There's this is just gross revenue. The profit on that was probably close to around 400 grand. Okay, let's just say, because it's like 10% margins, was around 400 grand. So over the course of 2 years, I made 200 grand a year, and I never had to own a single sauna. I didn't have a single sauna. None of the saunas were ever in my presence. All I did is I just learned how to use whatever. And in this case, he's talking about AI, but this is before he had the AI stuff. So all I learned was how to source these products and how to actually go and market them properly. You see, you've probably heard about drop shipping at some time in your life, and you understand the concept, right? You find a supplier, you then sell the product online, and then from there, they ship the product for you, and then you make money. But here's the thing. It is not the same that it was when I got started in 2016. It's not the same as it was even 4 years ago in 2020. Oh my gosh, 2025 now. 5 years ago. And it is definitely not the same that it was in 2024, because in 2025, the difference is that the global economy is completely different, so on and so forth. Okay, so you can kind of see where I would go with this ad. So I would create something along those lines. So let's go to a Google Doc. Let's create a new one. And let's just write as if we are saying that script. So something like, that sauna that's behind me helped me get to 100 and helped me get out of $152,000 of college debt that I racked up trying to become a lawyer. Right. That was one of the dumbest decisions that I ever made. I knew I shouldn't go to school. I didn't want to. But my parents told me that was the best, close out some of these tabs, the best decision I could make for my future. So I caved, I listened, and I found myself up to my eyeballs in debt. That sauna right there is the reason why I was able to not only get rid of all that debt, but also it's the reason why I was able to move to Dubai. Why it's also the reason why I was able to get married at Lake Como. It's also the reason why I've been able to help over X people create a life of freedom for themselves. Freedom from debt, freedom from a 9-to-5, freedom from the system that so many people get stuck in. Now, the way I did it was, the way this sauna was able to do all of that for me was with a concept called supplier arbitrage. You may have heard, notice how I'm also doing the like create another term and whatnot that they haven't heard of before. You may have heard of this online before, but people call it drop shipping, Amazon FBA. The name is really irrelevant. The truth is, this business model has been around for hundreds of years. It's not a brand new invention that was just discovered by some kid in Miami. Okay, and so I have this starting point of this ad. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna pop it into ChatGPT and I'm gonna ask it, hey, I'd like for you to keep writing where I left off, okay? And so keep writing where I left off. And I'm gonna tell it a little bit more of what I would like, right? So I'm gonna say, I would like for you to talk about how basically all forms of business success in most industries was being able to find some level of an advantage where you could get a product for cheaper from a better supplier and then source it to a customer and sell it for more. And again, this is called drop shipping for some people, e-commerce for other people. I like to call it supplier arbitrage because what matters more than anything is that you're able to get the right supplier, comma. No longer do we have the days where you can succeed just sourcing your products from China and shipping them to people. We've already seen how Trump's tariffs, et cetera, et cetera. And so we'll see what happens. Finding an advantage in pricing, an advantage in supply, an advantage in distribution, an advantage in branding. No matter what you call it, drop shipping, e-commerce, retail, import, export, the fundamental principle remains the same. Supplier arbitrage. The key to making money in business has always been getting the right product at the right price from the right supplier and then selling it to a customer for more. This is how empires were built. This is how the richest merchants of history operated. This is how the biggest companies in the world still function today. Look at Apple. Do they manufacture their own parts? No. They source from the best suppliers, they negotiate the best pricing, and then position their products in a way that make people willing to pay a premium. Look at Tesla. They don't make their own That's actually not true. They totally do make their own batteries or their own raw materials. We could say they don't own the raw materials. They source from the best suppliers, they integrate it all together, and they sell the cars and the batteries at a high margin. This is supplier arbitrage at its finest. Now, for years, the easiest way to do this was to find cheap suppliers in China, import the products, and sell them online. And for a while, that worked. A lot of people got rich off of it. But then things changed. But a lot of things have changed as we've moved into 2024 and 2025. Shipping delays, tariffs, supply chain issues. I mean, there's literally wars going on overseas, and we exist in an oversaturated market where everybody and their grandma is drop shipping the same AliExpress products. That's why the real money now isn't in drop shipping. It's in mastering supplier arbitrage on a deeper level. This is all about being able to find the best alternative suppliers. This is being able to build a real brand around the products that you sell and understanding that the real profit comes from logistics, supply chains, and pricing power, not just fancy ads. This is what allowed me to turn that sauna into a multiple six-figure business, which turned into financial freedom, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so I'm going to take some of this. I like some of this. I don't like some of this, right? Okay, so let's bring it back. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit for you guys. So that sauna behind me helped get me out of $252,000 college debt that I racked up trying to become a lawyer. That was one of the dumbest decisions I ever made. I knew I couldn't go to school. I knew I shouldn't go to school. I didn't want to, but my parents told me that was the best decision I could make for my future. So I caved, I listened, and I found myself up to my eyeballs in debt. That sauna right there is the reason why I was able to not only get rid of all that debt, but also it's the reason why I was able to move to Dubai. It's also the reason why I was able to get married at Lake Como. It's also the reason why I've been able to help over 10,000 people create a life of freedom for themselves. Freedom from debt, freedom from a 9-to-5, freedom from the system that so many people get stuck in. Now, the way this sauna was able to do all that for me was because of a concept called supplier arbitrage. You may have heard of this online with a different name slapped onto it. Drop shipping, Amazon FBA, e-commerce. The name is really irrelevant. The truth is this business model has been around for hundreds of years. It's not a brand new invention that was discovered by some kid in Miami, okay? At its core, business success across almost every industry has always been about one thing: finding an advantage. An advantage in pricing, an advantage in supply, an advantage in distribution, an advantage in branding. I'm going to say usually like this, okay? No matter what you call it, drop shipping, e-commerce, retail, import, export, the fundamental principle to success remains the same: supplier arbitrage. Whoever gets the best supplier wins. The key to making money in business has always been about getting the right product at the right price from the right supplier and then selling it to a customer for more. This is how empires were built. This is how the richest merchants of history operated. This is how the biggest companies in the world still function today. If you are wanting to get yourself out of a sticky situation, maybe you've got a lot of debt. Maybe you hate your job. Maybe you hate your job or your boss. Maybe you just hate the city you're stuck in. Whatever your situation is, even if you're up to 152,000 in debt, like I was, you are one supplier away from being able to change that situation. Now, is this easy to find a good supplier? Hell no. Right? You have a lot of competition, but you don't want it to be easy. You have to search vast and all around, send emails, talk to people you don't know. At least that's what was required previously. My team and I figured out, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so I'm going to grab this. I'm going to go and I'll just do edit select all. Drop this back into ChatGPT, and then I'm going to give it the next section. So I'm going to say something like, there is a way to make it much easier for anyone to find the right supplier to be able to sell products online at a very high profit margin. Now, I don't think that you should be selling $5 or $10 products. You should be selling expensive products like this sauna that's behind me. This sauna was being sold for over $20,000, and every single time I sold one, I was making $5,000. So what we did is we were able to create an AI tool that helps business owners So I'm going to say keep writing where I left off. Okay, so something like that. Oops. I didn't do this right. So it prompted that incorrectly. So I'm just going to, keep writing where I left off using this information. Sorry. Guys, I almost fucked that up there. So let's use that right there. Bow. Okay. My team and I figured out, nope, it's not doing it right. Pick up from my team and I figured out, and then use the information I gave you in the last message. Okay, so let's go from there. My team and I figured out there is a way to make it much easier for anyone to find the right supplier and start selling products online at very high profit margins without all the guesswork, frustration, and wasted time. See, I don't think you should be selling cheap products. Forget $5 or $10 items. That's a race to the bottom. Instead, you should be selling expensive, high-ticket products just like this sauna behind me. This sauna was being sold for over $20,000, and every single time I sold one, I was making $5,000 profit. That means I didn't have to sell hundreds or thousands of cheap items just to make a decent living. A few high-ticket sales per month was enough to completely transform my financial situation. But here's the problem. Finding the right suppliers for high-ticket products isn't easy. It used to take weeks, sometimes. Didn't we already say? I think we should go from here. So that it used to take. So we built a solution. We created an AI-powered tool that eliminates all that manual work. This tool does all the heavy lifting for you by instantly finding high ticket, analyzing, filtering out bad suppliers. Okay. It's the same system I use to sell hot product. Okay, so got it. So we'll take that and we'll come back. Okay, so I go to my team and I figured out. So let's put that right here. So I'm going to say now, on top of finding the right supplier, you need the right product. I don't think you should not be selling cheap products. Forget $5 or $10 items. That's a race to the bottom. Instead, you should be selling expensive high-ticket products just like the sauna behind me. The sauna was being sold for over $20,000, and every single time I sold one, I was making, let's just say $4,000, so it's a little bit less than that, $4,000 profit. That means I didn't have to sell hundreds or thousands of cheap items just to make a decent living. A few high-ticket sales per month was enough to completely transform my financial situation. But here's the problem. Finding the right suppliers for high-ticket products, it isn't easy. It used to take weeks, sometimes months of digging through endless directories, sending cold emails to random manufacturers, getting rejected because they didn't want to work with new sellers, guessing which product would actually sell profitably. So we built a solution. We created an AI-powered tool that eliminates all of that manual work. This tool does all the heavy lifting for you by instantly finding high-ticket suppliers willing to work with you, analyzing profit margins so you know exactly how much you can make per sale, filtering out bad suppliers so you don't waste time with low-quality manufacturers, and showing you demand trends so you can sell products that actually move, okay? So like something like that, okay? So look, I've put together a video that explains exactly how we've shown over 500 people how to do that and have collectively helped them produce over $10 million over the last, let's just say 2 years, using with supplier arbitrage. Okay. It's short, it's informative. It's going to show you exactly what you need to know if you're ready to use the business model. If you're ready to get out of your current situation and actually make a leap towards your dreams. I don't need you to believe me, you can see all of the case studies from the hundreds of students who have called this, who have changed their life using this system. Simply click the button on this ad, blah, 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 right? So, blah, blah, blah. I'm just, so click a button on this ad and you'll be taken to that video where you can check it out, okay? So this is a very kind of more left brain style ad, right? So if I wanted to make this more right brain, let's just take this, okay? We're done here. Now we can go and we can bring this back to ChatGPT. I'm going to paste it in and I'm going to say something like, okay, so this is a fairly left brain, logic orientated ad. I would like for you to change this and orientate it to be more right brained. And I would like for you to rewrite it as if you are master copywriter Gary Halbert. So we should make this more appealing to emotions, and you should utilize Gary Halbert's famous direct response style. Okay, so I'm just going to create variations of the ad now. This sauna paid off my $152,000 of college debt, and it could set you free too. Remember sitting there staring at my student loan balance, $152,000 in debt. I felt suffocated, like I had a weight around my neck that I would be dragging for the next 20 years. And I never wanted to go to college. I knew it was a bad decision. I felt it in my gut, but my parents, they told me it was the right thing to do, that I'd regret it if I didn't, that it was the best decision I could make for my future. So like a good little boy, I listened. And in return, I got a worthless degree, a mountain of debt, and a 9-to-5 that made me feel like a prisoner. I felt trapped until one day I found my way out. It wasn't some get-rich-quick scheme. It wasn't some crypto pump and dump. It wasn't some new shiny business model. It was this sauna right here. That sauna is the reason I was able to wipe out my entire $152,000 debt, move to Dubai and live life on my terms, get married at Lake Como, and help hundreds of people escape their own financial prison. And here's the thing. I never even touched the sauna. I never built it. I never stored it. I never shipped it. I just sold it. And every time I did, I made $4,000 in profit. And I know you're probably thinking, oh, this is like better than the fucking copy that I wrote. This is just another drop shipping thing. Oh, this is just another e-com thing. Stop. This isn't about some overhyped trend. This is, look, I don't like this. This isn't about blank. This is about blank. This is a common thing that GPT does here. So this is the part I would change here. It's the oldest and most proven way to make money in business. Here's how it works. Step 1, you find a product people already want. Step 2, you find a supplier who will let you sell it without buying inventory. And step 3, you connect the two and you pocket the profits. That's it. This is how billion-dollar companies operate. Nike doesn't make their own shoes. That's not true. Apple, this is just false. Like, that's completely false. They source smart, they sell high, and they keep the difference. That's why I did this with Asana. And that's what I've helped over 500 people do in the last 2 years. Some people sold saunas. Some people sold blah, 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 right? Now, here's the problem. Most people trying to start online, they fail. Not because they're dumb, not because they're lazy, but because they don't have the right suppliers. And that's the hardest part, finding suppliers who actually want to work with you. It used to take weeks, sometimes months of searching endless directories, sending cold emails to manufacturers, getting ignored, rejected, or ghosted, guessing which products will actually sell. But me and my team, we figured it out until my team and I figured out an easier way. We built an AI-powered tool that eliminates all the hard work. So it instantly finds high-ticket suppliers who want to work with you. It shows you exactly how much profit you're going to make per sale. It filters out the garbage suppliers so you don't waste time, and it tells you which products are in demand right now. It's the same system I used to escape my $152,000 in debt. It's the same system my students have used to generate over $10 million in sales. And now I'm giving you a chance to see exactly how this works. I put together a short video that explains everything. How I turned this sauna into my personal ATM, how my students are making $5,000 plus per sale, how you can use the same system to escape your 9-to-5, wipe out debt, or create financial freedom for yourself. I don't need you to believe me. Just click the button, watch the video, see for yourself. One supplier could change your life. I found mine. You're going to find yours. It's pretty damn good. I think this is actually pretty darn good. I like this as a script. So let's take this, let's bring it here, and now let's change the parts that we didn't like, right? So these are all clever names that people have invented recently. But the truth is, this is the oldest and most and best proven way to make money in business. You find a product people already want. You find a supplier who will let you sell it without buying inventory. You connect the two and you pocket the profits. That's it. This is how billion-dollar companies operate. So these are not true at all. This is how billion-dollar companies operate. So I'm going to give it back these examples, and then I'm going to be like, hey, this is not true at all. Nike does own their shoes. Apple literally owns the factories where they build their phones. This is just bullshit. So let's actually use some real examples and not just make up some shit. So now we are going to let it write. That's actually true. Ray-Ban, they're one of the most world designer glasses. Ray-Ban, Oakley, even high brands like Prada and Versace, they're actually made by a single supplier, Luxottica. These brands just slap their name on it and mark it up 1,000% or more. And Restoration Hardware, they don't own their furniture factories. They source high-end pieces from suppliers, and they sell them at premium prices under their brand. The biggest companies in the world because they source better, brand better, and sell higher. And that's exactly what I did with this hat. Beautiful. Way better example. See how much better you can get it if you just ask it to, not be bullshitting you. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so the biggest company in the world because they source smart, sell high, because there we go. Okay, so because they source smart, sell high, and keep the difference. That's what I did with this sauna. And that's what I've helped over 500 people do in the last 2 years. Okay, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so this is one example of an ad. And I love this, that sauna right there behind me, like pointing this to this thing. So now let's say, we're going to take this same one. And I'm going to bring it back to GPT. And I'm going to say something completely different. So now what I would like for you to do is create a completely different ad that does not use this sauna angle, but rather what we should do is something along of the Wall Street Journal ad that has become very famous. So that ad essentially was that there are two men who went to the same college, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that you should say that there are two men who both of them wanted to get started in online business. And one of them decided that he was going to blah, blah, blah. And the other one decided blah, blah, blah. And one of them succeeded and the other one didn't. And we want to create that two paths ad right there. Write this as if you are master copywriter Gary Halbert, and we want this language to be emotionally visceral as well. Okay, so I'm just giving it a random prompt now, and I'm going to change the essence of it. So there were once two men. Let's call them John and Mark. Both of them wanted the same thing. They wanted freedom. Freedom from a job they hated, freedom from staring at their bank account, hoping it wouldn't hit zero before payday, and freedom to live life on their terms instead of taking orders from a boss who didn't respect them. So they both made a decision. They decided they were going to start an online business. At first, they were both excited. John stayed up late researching business models. Mark did the same. John scrolled through YouTube videos looking for answers. Mark did the same. John watched all the how to make money online videos. Mark did the same. But within a few months, something strange happened. John was making sales. Mark was struggling. John was pocketing thousands in profit. Mark hadn't made a single dollar. John had suppliers giving him the best deals. Mark was stuck sending emails to suppliers who never responded. What happened? Why did one succeed and the other fail? It wasn't because John was smarter. It wasn't because John worked harder. It wasn't even because John had some secret hustle mindset. It's because John knew something that Mark didn't. John understood that business is a game of position. Okay, that's definitely not it. He knew that money isn't in the best product itself. The money is getting the best supplier at the best price. Mark, on the other hand, I think that what it was, I don't really think this is the right way to do this. Okay, so we're going to redo this. I don't think this is the way to do this. I think that what we need to realize is that Mark, yes, he was guessing, he was spinning his wheels, he was stuck playing the trial and error game, but realistically what it was that John focused on running the business like it was 2025 and understood that he was able to move faster and make better decisions because he had AI, whereas Mark was stuck running a business like it was 2017, listening to outdated information online on YouTube, something like that. So I'm going to give it that revision. And so let's see what comes out. So let's refine the narrative. Okay. There were once two men, John and Mark. Both of them wanted the same thing, freedom. Freedom from a job they hated, freedom from waking up to an alarm clock they despised, and freedom from barely scraping by, watching their paycheck disappear the second that it hit their bank account. So they both made a decision. They're going to start an online business. At first, they did what most people do. John stayed up late watching YouTube videos on how to start an online business. Okay, so let's do this one more time. I think I have a better version of this. So I'd like for you to try this one more time, and I think that you need to talk about how they need to both have gone the route of choosing a drop shipping business because they knew that it is the best route. Okay, so just to kind of, again, explain what I'm doing, I'm using an old kind of like template for ads that have worked in the past, which is like the Wall Street Journal, two paths, or two people go on two different paths kind of angle. And so let's see here. So John and Mark had the same goal. Both of them wanted to escape the 9-to-5. Both of them wanted to build a profitable online business. Both of them wanted to make money without inventory, warehouses, or overhead. So after doing their research, they both came to the same conclusion. Drop shipping was the best route. No need to buy products up front. No need to deal with shipping or storage. No need to risk thousands on inventory that might not sell. They both saw the success stories. They both knew people were making serious money doing this, and they both committed to making it work. But then something happened. Within 6 months of starting, John was closing high-ticket sales and stacking profits. Mark was still stuck with an empty bank account. John had suppliers reaching out to him, offering the best deals. Mark was selling hundreds of emails to suppliers who never, or sending hundreds of emails to suppliers who never responded. John was making $5,000 per sale. Mark was barely breaking even if he made a sale at all. At first, Mark was confused. How was John winning while he struggled? They were in the same business, selling the same types of product. Well, it's not going to sell the same types of product, struggling at the exact same time. So why was one getting rich while the other was getting nowhere? The answer is simple. John was running his business like it was 2025. Mark was running his business like it was 2017. The difference was AI. See, Mark was stuck doing things the old way, searching endless supplier directories like Alibaba, sending cold emails and waiting weeks for replies, wasting money testing products that nobody wanted, watching outdated YouTube videos from gurus who peaked in 2017. John was using AI to move 10 times faster. AI found him high-ticket suppliers in minutes. AI showed him exactly which products were in demand. AI calculated his profit margins before he even made a sale. AI filtered out bad suppliers, so he only worked with the best. So while Mark was guessing and struggling, John was closing deals and making money. And the result, a few months later, John was making $50,000 a month. Mark was still refreshing his Shopify dashboard, praying for a sale. John quit his 9-to-5 and moved to Dubai. Mark updated his resume and went back to job hunting. John built a real business that paid him every single day. Mark convinced himself that drop shipping doesn't work. And the craziest part is John didn't work harder. He didn't spend more money. He didn't have more experience. He just had the right tool, a tool that let him cut through the noise, find the best suppliers instantly, and focus on making money instead of wasting time. And now you can do the same. I put together a short video that shows you exactly how this AI tool works and how you can use it, blah, blah, blah. Pretty good, okay? I like this one. So we'll take this one and we will bring it back to our document and we can edit that as well. Now I'm trying to speed things up just for the sake of this video. So it's not, again, 3 hours, 4 hours long. So could I go and edit this and refine it further and whatnot? Yes, I totally could. I'm just going to go ahead and speed things up a bit more. Okay. So we have, as it stands, 3 ads. So what we've done is we've created this first ad that was just like, hey, it's kind of a little bit more me writing it. Then I went and rewrote it and I did a more like punchy, shorter, Gary Halbert style ad and did that one. And then we did another one, which was kind of like the Wall Street Journal ad. Now let's do one that is a current event. Okay, so what is happening right now in 2025 since Trump got elected is he's slapping tariffs on pretty much every single country. And so as a result, drop shipping is kind of getting screwed. So Trump just screwed over 90% of drop shippers' business. 10% of them are still going to keep making money, making money without needing to touch. I think we should talk about the tariffs. He's placed tariffs on China, which has turned the already slim margins of many sellers, of many drop shippers into non-existent margins. However, 10% of drop shippers are still going to keep make money without needing to touch, without needing to have any inventory on hand, and then so on and so forth. So let's take that, throw that into GPT, and then from there, I'll go keep writing where I left off. Okay. Cheap Chinese suppliers, and without having to worry about their margins getting crushed overnight. See, most dropshippers have been doing things the wrong way for years. They built their entire business around cheap products from China, shipping them halfway across the world and hoping they could squeeze out a small profit before the market got flooded. That worked for a while, but those days are over. Again, Trump's new tariffs, shipping costs have skyrocketed, and profit margins have vanished. But here's the thing. The smartest 10% of dropshippers saw this coming. Okay, you're repeating yourself. We are kind of repeating ourselves. Can you not do that, please? So, however, 10% of dropshippers are still going to keep making money. They won't be affected by tariffs. They won't be scrambling for new suppliers, and they definitely won't be stuck with razor-thin margins. Why? Because they were never playing the same game as everyone else. They weren't chasing cheap trinkets from China. They weren't competing on who could sell the cheapest garbage. They weren't relying on a single supply chain that could be shut down overnight. Instead, they built a real business, one where suppliers are located in the US, Europe, and Canada. Shipping takes days, not months, and margins are $3,000 plus per sale, not $3. These smart 10% of business owners understood something that the rest didn't. The key to winning in drop shipping isn't what you sell, isn't where you sell. This isn't a good way to say this. I think we just go into the key to winning in drop shipping is what you sell and who you source it from. Think about it. If you're selling a $5 gizmo from China and your profit's only $2 per sale, that's gone overnight thanks to tariffs. But if you're selling a $15,000 premium product with a $5,000 margin, a small tariff increase doesn't even matter. That's the difference. The losers in this game were always just middlemen for cheap overseas suppliers. The winners understood supplier arbitrage. They knew that getting the right supplier was the difference between struggling and thriving. And now they're sitting back and watching as 90% of the market collapses, knowing full well that their business is untouchable. The question is, which side are you on? You can either scramble to find new suppliers, cut margins, and try to salvage a dying business, or start using the exact same AI-driven system that the smart 10% are using to dominate. I put together a short video that breaks it all down: how to get US and European suppliers with no tariffs, how to sell premium products that make $3,000 plus per sale, and how AI can find these suppliers for you so you can move 10 times faster. The old game is over. The new wave is here. Click below, watch this video, position yourself to win. Okay, pretty good. Alrighty, so that's pretty much it, guys. Like, I could keep sitting here and coming up with different variations, but like, let's just break down kind of what I did, right? So this is like I'm just going to bump up my font size to like 30, right? So this is like a current event angle, right? So the current event angle is a powerful one. Then let's say, I'm just going to, just so I can keep the font size, I'll bring this up here. This one is kind of like a swipe angle. So I did the Wall Street Journal ad, which is like a very famous ad. Okay. The other ones here is more of kind of like it's a object ad. Okay. So an object ad, and I did a variation to like a Halbert version. Okay. So I could do a Dan Kennedy version. I could do a Clayton Makepeace version. I could do a bunch of different versions of that ad. And then like I can go here and I can say, okay, this one is more of just like the object ad, and this is like, Nick version. Okay. So I could sit here all day and just keep making variations of this, but what's important is that like you guys see how I'm prompting AI, how I'm thinking about it, what I'm specifically doing, et cetera, et cetera. So I hope that you found this useful. I hope that this video kind of showed you a little bit about like how to actually go about doing it, because it's almost like 4-minute mile. Like someone saw someone do it and they realized they could do it. Writing ads and writing copy, it's very useful. It makes you a lot of money. It's a very valuable skill, but it starts with understanding that you need to know who you are writing to. So like going back to what we were drawing before and like all that stuff, that's the most important, is who we're writing to, like what specifically is the awareness level, where are they at, where is this person at in their life? Like, you know, understanding that stuff is more important than all the nuts and bolts of how we go about prompting it. Because if we can do that, then it's pretty much free flow from there. It's just what would make this person pay attention. And a lot of that is just studying what's worked in the past and coming up with your own ideas and coming up with your own creative angles on it. It's not insanely complicated. So I hope you guys found that useful. If you have any questions, you can comment below. If you want to see different versions of this, if you want me to review other examples or people online, you could totally just drop that as well. But if you wanted to get the full process that is much more detailed than this and is not just me Chad ramming some copy online, if you want to get the full process, you can click the link in the description. It is the Power Copy process. And you just go to that link, you give me your email, and then I'm going to send you over that doc. And that doc is going to make it really easy for you to be able to pump out pretty good copy. So very in-depth guide. So hope you guys found this useful. Brooke, thank you very much for letting me use your VSL for this example. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day and got some value from this video. Alrighty, friends. So I hope you found that useful today. It's just me just freeforming, freestyling, writing some random copy. As you can see, I just think in terms of copy. I have random ads stuck in my head and I have random frameworks and I just come up with ideas. And the reason that I wanted to record this video is because it's very important for you guys to understand there are no rules, okay? I try and create rules because sometimes people need guardrails to not fall off the fucking cliff of this complex world of marketing and advertising. So that's why I created the Power Copy process. If you are someone who likes step-by-step processes and wants to be able to follow them, I created that for you so you can at least first learn to ride the bicycle with some training wheels on, and then eventually you can do shit like I do today in this video where you just break all the rules and do whatever you want, just Chad ram some shit and just see what pops out. But if you wanted to get access to that document, again, you can just click the link in the description down below, and that should get you to a page where you trade your email for that opt-in. So that's everything for the day. Hope you found this useful. And as well, if you wanted to watch Brooke's VSL, the link is down below as well. Brooke, thank you so much for letting me use your business as the guinea pig for this video. Wishing you all the best. I'm wishing anyone who watched this video a very, very profitable day. Alrighty, all the best.